then I had to like stop and realize and remind myself, like, this is your contrived notion that everything has to be done tomorrow. No one is telling you that all of these things have to be done tomorrow. This is you doing it to yourself. So take a step back and remind yourself, no, only these certain things need to get done. And so that moment in time, although hard, was so important to me because that really changed my tone for myself moving forward from that moment. And although like I still get into that like trap from time to time because it's still a relatively new like thought process for me, like just thinking about that and reminding myself that it's not a company's not telling me I need to do this is a you thing, right? And like just trying to take a step back and like recenter, reprioritize, and take it a step at a time. I don't know.
Right. And that's why in the beginning, I said, yes, you're going to be working more hours and you're going to have more work stuff on your plate, but still make sure that you have those firm boundaries because you're going to need your nervous system functioning to be able to remind yourself of these. Oh yeah, this is how I think. This is my new mindset. This is how I think through this. These are my next steps. Because if your nervous system is like out of whack, right? And you're like in flight or fight mode or even like freeze, right? I think that's where I tend to get in these situations. I'm just like, I'm checking out for a minute because I don't know what I'm freezing. But yes, so that you can stop and pause in these moments and like try to stay in the moment and remind yourself like, okay, this is about me. I have control of a lot of this. What is my next step and how do I go from here?
And if you're going, if most of what you need to do, which I assume most of it, like the onboarding, where do I find my documents, where do I upload stuff, all of this would be using a computer or something, right? So you could even use a Zoom meeting, and you're the only one in the Zoom meeting. You have your camera facing you, and then you have your share screen on. And then you do the video and then you just say, okay, I go here and then I go here and then I go here. And then it will also transcribe it. So if there is sensitive data that you don't want everyone to see, you can still have the transcription of what you said. So then you can take that and put that into a step-by-step document. At least it gets you somewhere, right?
I like that. Okay, I'm going to have to try that out.
And that's what I did for my social media person, right? Like I hate sharing on social media. Is the worst. It's one of the worst.
And then he tried to pass it to me and I hate it too. So
this is one of the worst stuff. Like
yep.
All the social media stuff, scheduling the posts and sharing the posts and making sure they've uploaded and then taking the transcript and then creating content on that. So all I did is I did it for the final time, hopefully. And that final time, I took a video of everything I did and all the thoughts I have as I do the things that I'm doing and say, oh, well, this didn't work, so I tried it this way. And, if you have a guest, you got to do it this way. And so I had my face recording and all my hand gestures, plus I had the screen share. So they have both of those. And, then they can ask me questions after watching and doing, right? Okay, well, I did that, but now what do I do here? And then what I would do is I'd say, okay, now it's your turn to record it, right? Based on the new knowledge that I've given you through call or chat and the information that you've done on your own. Now I need you to record it and send it to me. And then, they take it over, right? So, and you can add that responsibility to especially if you have a tech that needs a lot of indirect time. This could potentially be some indirect time if they're doing, if it's behavior analytic.
You can make it behavioral because they're making a task analysis, or they're like, they're taking your actions and putting it into like observable, measurable, things for future.
And I and eventually I assume you're going to have a session note audit, right? And that's, again, another great place for a tech that's becoming a supervisor is get them to look at your notes and tech notes and say, I I think this is good, but I have a question here. And so they're learning, the nuances of what needs to be in and what doesn't need to be in it, and then let them create that task. And okay, so I do this first, and then they share it with you, and then you're like, yeah, but you got to tweak it here, or you know what I mean. And so that could be very helpful. And then well, based on this, anybody with some skills can do this.